Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Sean Robert Grant. Welcome to the Vibrational Actor / Become a Powerhouse in Auditioning. And guess what came in the mail today? Guess what came in the mail today? Oh, it's good to be back. I have taken, I want to say 5 or 6 days off. And, sometimes as a creative, you just get stuck in that mode and you just go and you just go and you just go and you just go. And, it reaches a point sometimes if you're not careful, you can burn yourself out. So you find you need to take a few steps away from what you're doing. And that actually helps you to be more creative in the sense of coming up with new ideas and stuff like that. But anyway, while I was away, my book came in and I've read through it, and I'm happy to say that it is something I'm truly proud of. So if you hadn't gotten a copy yet on Kindle, on paperback, grab a copy, because if you are an actor, if you are a performer and you want to go a heart-centered, unconventional route at succeeding, this book and that book is for you. Okay. That's all I'm going to say about it. Or let it speak for itself. But I am happy that you're joining me today. I am happy that for those of you that have purchased it, thank you very much for your support. It's greatly appreciated. And I hope that, you find value within it, because it really is a situation that it becomes something truly magnificent when you can pour forth from yourself, from your own heart, to inspire, uplift, and help people following that same path. And so I'm just happy to do that. So let's get into today's message. I'm just kind of going to get myself into winging it, so to speak, but not really winging it, but not so much of documenting bullet points, so to speak, but just talking about what's most important. And we'll get to that here in just a bit. But all I want to say right now is that if you have any questions in regards to the book, any questions in regards to any feedback, correspondence, whatever it is, anything I can do to help, feel free to write to us at seang04@gmail.com, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. We can, not the weekend. All right. So now that that's out the way, bada bing, bada boom. What is today's message? Become a powerhouse in auditioning. Being yourself wins the audition. Okay, so this, cover my eyes up. This goes without saying, right? This goes without saying. And the reason why this goes without saying is because you, in order to truly succeed, in order to truly be fulfilled, in order to truly be happy, you have to be yourself, right? Anything I've ever done, whether I've attempted, no matter how great of imitation or impersonation that I did, anytime I was attempting to be someone else other than who God made me to be, I failed, right? I didn't succeed. But the moment I became myself, right? The moment I became myself is when I experienced success and in so many areas, right? I will never forget when a director told me, he said, I just booked the role, and I'm like, so what is your motivation for this? He said, be yourself. He said, I want you to be exactly who you are, not who you did when you auditioned, right? When you're trying to be the gangster, I want you to be yourself, your everyday self. Be that person in this character. And that spoke to me like nothing I had ever experienced before. And that becomes the key, or one of the important keys to succeeding whenever you go to an audition, right? A lot of times when it comes down to auditioning, you kind of overthink it at times. You start to think, well, I want to give this character some essence here, and I want to give it a little bit of animalistic quality here. And then, so what tends to happen is it moves into this robotic space of not being authentic to who you are. right? And that's where we want to ensure that that foundation is always there, because it's your authentic essence that comes across no matter who it is you're playing. Perfect example, Jack Sparrow from Pirates of the Caribbean. Although Johnny Depp has this accent and, he's doing all these movements and everything else, his essence still comes through in that character. And that's what's beautiful about acting in the truest sense, is that, when you've really connected to something, right, you give yourself the privilege, you give yourself the right to be you as the character, not necessarily the character as you. Now that can seem confusing, but all that is saying that the very first thing you step into any character is, what of me can relate to this person, right? This imagined person that's about to be real, that I'm about to bring to life. What parts of me can I bring to it, right? So we just shot a proof of concept film called Journey. And what's amazing is the character that I play is called Reagan. And the essence of him and the essence of me gelled so well, because he is a leader. I'm a leader, right? He is a mentor. I am a mentor. He is wise. I am wise, right? So it was one of those things where it just locked in to where I basically was just playing myself. It had nothing to do with me, other than the fact of like dying and stuff like that. You want to make that as real as possible, but tapping into that character to be able to help that character to be me, and to help myself to come forward, right, through it, not necessarily, it encompassing everything about me, but more importantly, me encompassing it, right? So stay with me. But in being able to do that, what happens is the action, the movement, the flow of everything within this individual, this character I'm talking about now, is completely authentic, completely organic, because I'm not reaching, right? It's a great lesson in life that we should never reach for anything, because when we begin to reach for stuff, we find the stuff moving away from us. So for me, if I find like I'm reaching outside myself for something, it's not going to work. I know that when I reach, the universe pulls back. But if I reach, or I go within first and foremost, then everything that I need will be magnetized to me. And this goes with when you're developing a scene, when you're developing a character, when you're really getting into the environment, you're getting into the truth of who this person is going to be once the camera starts to roll, right? So this is actually one of the chapters within Become a Powerhouse in Auditioning, because I feel like if you get nothing else, you get this right, you will no doubt succeed at some point, and it will put you into that place where you come into a role that's absolutely perfect for yourself, right? And that's what you want, right? You don't want acting to be this mentally taxing, overwhelming, exhausting process, right? You want to be able to enjoy it as it happens, and you want to be able to know that it is meeting you halfway. You're not continually trying to be something you're not, because that's when you experience a lot of burnout, right? I can remember one character I played. It was so interesting because I was attempting to be something I wasn't. And this was like way back in my career, when I look back on it. And so, but it was funny because I had no relation to what the character was, but I had to find a way to play it. And I kept thinking to myself, well, maybe I'm going to be like this upstanding, just proper individual. And I was just reaching the whole time. instead of going within myself and seeing what related to that character. I was just reaching outside for what I thought it could be. And I tell you, I fumbled and messed up lines and like, just really, I really just put myself into a place of making it so hard to perform that I literally had to take like 15, 20 minutes away and start over again. Right. And literally start over during production and say to myself, okay, what aspect of this character relates to me as a person the most? Right. What comes natural? What comes as authentic as me putting on my clothes in the morning in a way that I expression. And I just found one thing. And once I found that one thing, everything became a lot more smoother because I was able to tap into that. And in tapping into that, that came across as who this character needed to be, as opposed to me trying to be something I wasn't. Right. So it's interesting because you don't think about this. And so the whole point of this book was to really kind of put out there things you wouldn't necessarily think about when it came to auditioning and really dive into those because it's the intangible stuff, right? In the beginning, I talk about how like most classes focus on scene study, scene analysis. There we go. We're back. Got kicked off for a bit, but we're all good. But yeah, so I was just saying, like most classes focus on the tangible stuff, and they do such a great job. I'm not even gonna sit here and lie to you. They do such a great job with the physical aspects, but a lot of times the spiritual, the emotional aspects of acting become missing, right? Because acting is as much spiritual as it is mental, physical, emotional, all those things, right? It's just a matter of integrating that. And when you integrate that, you begin to see your characters have more substance. They have more of you, more of your divinity flowing into them, which then makes it easy, right? So the thing I admire, one of the things I admire the most about myself is being able to connect so much with the character that I can be relaxed enough to tell as many jokes, to be as foolish as I possibly can in between takes, right? And if you've seen any of those posts that I've put up, like, it's the truth of the matter. Like I really like to have a good time, right? I really like to enjoy, myself as I'm working. And I don't want to say I will stop at nothing, but I'm always up for a good joke. I'm always up to do different things that really just keeps me at a high vibration, because laughing really keeps you and everyone else at a high vibration. But the moment you're ready to shoot, I can switch back over because it's in that relaxation, but also in that aspect of me being myself completely, where I don't have far to go, right? I've always told anybody I've coached, any students that I've had, when you're attempting to play a character that's a bit of a reach from who you are, you can set yourself up for, some serious issues if you don't have the energy to sustain that. And if it doesn't feel like it's an easeful process in a sense. And I'm not saying that it has to be, a walk in the park easy, but if you can't feel the connection, if you can't feel the symbiotic nature with that character, and it feels like, you're pushing, then that's maybe something you need to rethink, right? We always want to be ourselves on camera. If you look at the most successful actors and actresses of this day, these people are themselves, right? It's just themselves playing different characters, right? You look at Will Smith, it's Will Smith in Bad Boys as Mike Lowry, right? You look at Robert Downey Jr., who's just a phenomenal actor, but it's Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. It's not Tony Stark. It's RDJ, so to speak, in that character that allows it to be as popular as it is, right? And so as a performer, as an actor, it's not your acting ability that's always going to be what people are drawn to. It's your charisma. It's your magnetism. It's your ability to be yourself and unapologetically be yourself, and to allow that to shine through. That makes you popular. That makes you a success. That helps you to succeed. That helps you, in this case, to get the job that you're auditioning for, right? So before we get ready to wrap it up, it's important to think about, one, what are some of the aspects that I can bring to the table that are myself, right? And I can tell you right away, everybody loves somebody who's funny, no matter what it is. Everybody loves somebody who's funny, but if you're gonna be funny, you've got to be confident with your funny, right? You can't be half in, half out. You just got to go for it, right? And so you got to break be able to break the tension and just be able to commit. And that's the biggest thing with comedy. That's the biggest thing of being funny, is you got to commit, right? Some people are just radiant, they have a light about them that just jumps off away from their aura onto other people. And that's another thing. Commit to that, right? Find these things about you that are so dynamically wonderful and divine about yourself, and begin to implement those into your auditioning process. Begin to implement those into who you are as an actor or actress, and you will see your success rate go up, right? And even if you're not booking, guess what's going to happen? There were times where I did a number of auditions. I mean, an extraordinary number of auditions. And I knew in my heart, from the way I felt, that I was doing an amazing job, but I wasn't booking anything, right? But me, being the genius that I am, I would get copies, or I would save copies of the self-tape auditions, and I would post them. And I think I got like 3,600 friends or something astronomical like that. I would post this stuff on my page, and sure enough, somebody was a director or producer and would see it and would say, I think you'd be really great for something that I'm doing, and I want you to come out and like, I'll just give you the role, right? So my point is, with that, keep doing your thing, right? Keep your self-tape auditions, because you'll never know where you can actually post those up. I tell you, don't be afraid either to put it out there, because it's one of those things that it's like, it allows you to see yourself in the moment. It allows you to see yourself in a sense of being the very best that you can be in every sense of the word, right? So when we put ourselves into a place where we can get better, when we put ourselves into a place where we can see who and what we truly are in that which we love, that's when the opportunity for growth is born. That's when the opportunity for us to be completely ourselves within our work is born, right? So always find ways to implement yourself within your auditioning, within your acting, right? That's your number one tool. Not memorizing, not breaking down scenes, not doing any of that stuff. You come across a character. Who is this character in me? What creative stuff can I do with this character that represents who I am as a person, right? Because that's going to put your personal spin on it. And like I said, this is something that's completely unconventional that I really felt the need to jump into, because this makes all the difference, right? When somebody every character is personified, and it's your person that personifies it. So when a director is looking to see, okay, who is this character? You've got to be it as yourself, though, right? They've got to look at you and say, that's such and such. That's who I'm looking for, right? And that happens when you connect the essence of who you are to your character, right? So, all things, all in all, be yourself. That's all you need to be. And guess what? That's a great life lesson. Be yourself. Continue to be yourself. Find ways to be more of yourself. Grow into yourself. Love yourself. Put it into your acting. Put it into your auditioning, because the beauty of it is when you begin to do that, you're going to succeed. And not only will you succeed, you will be fulfilled. I can promise you that. All right. So that wraps up today's message, ladies and gentlemen. Great to be back with you. If you have any questions, any feedback, feel free to comment. These books, both of these books are available in paperback and in Kindle. I put the links over in the description. So if you want to take a look at it, you can do that as well. If you're really, really serious about taking your acting to another level, these are the books for you. Thank you in advance for purchasing if you feel the need to go that route. But anything I can do to help, write to me at seang04@gmail.com, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. Ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, that wraps up today's message. Thank you for joining me. Sorry about that glitch that came, but I think we made it through all right, and everything is peachy, and we're rolling, and I promise you I will see you soon. Take care. Good night.